siam south man. Hi to the naquail. Hi to the mug squail. Mugwet siam the siea siam mistima. Hi to the saug tomah mugansa. The Solwains at the Wenselwains at the Snowayas. Tweematal, Skewatal. Lallamatal to Naquail, to Mug Squail. Conquer the Sar Squallowin, Nuzzlemach Squallowin. Creator, Great Spirit, thank you for this day as we gather here at Sheringham for this ceremony of this land. We thank you for the blessings of today and every day, the blessing of Mother Earth, her goodness and beauty and bounty providing for us. Creator, Great Spirit, bless everyone here today. Help us each day to walk in a good way, with beauty and compassion, to be kind always to Mother Earth and to one another. Hi, Jesus, you.
Very good, yeah. Thank you.
I'm here today to celebrate the dedication of the Sheringham Point Lighthouse Park. 12 years ago, none of us could have foreseen the establishment of the beautiful forested loop trail adorning the finally established Lighthouse Park. Sitting around the coffee table at Terry and Dom's house for our first meetings, our only aim was to protect the original lighthouse structure and the original property where the lighthouse keeper's residence and outbuilding stood. In no way could we have foreseen a circumstance where the society would be granted ownership of the lighthouse and residence property intact, with all of its exciting possibilities and daunting responsibilities. Keeping the lighthouse and the residence property together in perpetuity is a vision that our society and the federal government understood to be important. The reason behind all of this effort on so many people's parts was to establish a historic park featuring a stunning structure from 100 years ago, to remind us of the hardships and peril that was part of all sea voyages a century ago, and the almost 100 years of vigilant stewardship by the lightkeepers and our Canadian government. This park exists for the people of Shirley, the Capital Region, British Columbia, Canada, and the world. Thank you very much for your attendance this afternoon.
And I was elected 11 years ago this May, and the first letter I got 11 years ago in May was from the Sheringham Point Lighthouse Society. And I've been getting correspondence from them ever since. And I think it speaks, Rob touched upon tenacity and commitment. But what really happened here was a small group of people had a really, really big idea. And this is the result of it. But what I was able to experience as a local guy, just getting elected in a neighborhood, in a place that I grew up in, and a place that I love, was to see people coming from all over the world. This is like the United Nations in Shirley, and those who know, and mostly from Southern California, but that's beside the point. But there was a passion for the place, regardless of where you were born, regardless of where you came from, a passion for the place and an absolute dedication to protecting it. I'm so proud that I could be here today with all of you to celebrate this momentous occasion. And to all of you, I salute you. Job well done, and it's just a great, great honor to have been a modest part of it, and to have seen after my 11 years and Rob 12, that if you think big things and you work well with other people, like your mom told you to when you were in elementary school, good things will happen. So thank you very much.
I have a great announcement to make. As of yesterday or Friday, the official address here is number 1 Sheringham Road. So that's that and a $10,000 grant and aid is my gift to the society today. Thanks a lot, and what a tremendous, tremendous achievement. It's almost impossible that they did this. They had to work against these governments, with these governments. Almost impossible, but they did it. So well done, Rob, and well done to the society.
Thank you very much.
I'm really honored to be here today. It is a historic occasion. It is actually the very first Heritage Lighthouse plaque unveiled in BC. Now I have a small regional issue with that because I'm from Saturna Island, and our fog alarm building was the first one declared a Heritage Lighthouse, East Point, but Sheringham got the plaque first. And I'm going to have to look into that, Ron. Ours isn't even in the mail. But it marks really two important facets of this. First of all, it is a tribute to our maritime history on this coast. As Rob, I think, mentioned, it was part of the historic lighthouses of the West Coast that were established 100 years ago. It also marks the entrance to Juan de Fuca State. The other point is it's a working light. As Mike points out, the fisherman who got lost in Port Angeles, I'm going to tell that story again, but he wasn't the only one. And even today it's a nav aid. It's a navigational aid, and it's very important. And now, of course, it's a community treasure because of the outstanding work of the Sheringham Point Lighthouse Preservation Society. And you have taken on the task of preserving the light, also educating the public in its history, and allowing public access. That's a big job. So I hate to tell you this, but your job's only starting. And I respect that. I want to point out what this lighthouse venture was possible under the Heritage Protection Lighthouse Act. We'll have a whole string of them. Under our act, there were 348 petitions for heritage. 76 have been granted. 21 of those heritage lights are now in BC. The one at Active Pass is one, Entrance Island. There are others except for West Coast Lights. You can Google Parks Canada and find out where they are. But this is the first one. So it's possible by the incredible endeavors of all of you. We as senators and MPs, and I was an MP in Vancouver Centre, we can write the laws, we can fight them through Parliament. If you don't pick up the torch and light the way and make it work, it's not going to happen. So I congratulate you all. And now, Alani, you and I are going to take a peek at this. Okay.
There she is.
No. Just hold it. Now we agreed that even though I want to take it to Saturna, we're not going to have a tug of war.
We did agree to that.
So do we do it from the bottom up or the top?
What would you like to do now?
Bottom up?
Bottom up.
Okay.
Bottoms up.
Okay. I want to make a point that I didn't realize till we saw it. The blue background is unique. In most of the Parks Canada, national historic sites, they don't have blue. We asked for it to be blue, so it was maritime. And I asked for the rope, okay? So congratulations.
Thank you, Pat. That's awesome. Thank you.
Very special.
There was an impetus, of course, that drove the federal government to accelerate its program of installing navigational aids, such as the Sheringham Light, the Estevan and Triangle lights on this coast, and others, of course, and which drove them to improve the old Telegraph Trail to become the West Coast Life-Saving Trail. This was because of the horrendous loss of life in the disaster of the iron steamship Valencia, inbound from San Francisco to Seattle in February 1906, when it was driven ashore by the currents at Pachena Point. The loss, as you mentioned, Senator Carney, the loss of 126 lives within sight of shore caused such an outrage for both the Canadian and U.S. governments that improvements were set in motion. Many of us have been sad to see the decommissioning of lighthouses, and we certainly pay tribute to the lightkeepers and their families
In particular, Eustace and Ann Arden and Jim and Evelyn Bruton at Sheringham Point. They've been part of a noble profession on our coast.
Anyway, a lighthouse is a cornucopia of metaphors for a poet to think about. Certainly journeys and weather and safe harbors and so on. And I've been astonished thinking about what's been done over the last 10 years. It is a hell of a journey that the Sheringham folks have taken. I've since moved up to Thetis Island, but I've kept on the board because I believed in the project. And nobody would have anticipated that it would take so long. We talked about the graveyard of the Pacific. Nobody thought about the graveyard of bureaucracies. So anyway, I'm here to celebrate this and the navigation that's been done. Michael and the group that have gathered have been absolutely tireless. What a crew and what a skipper to work with. I think we really should give them a hand. A lot of faith and a lot of hard work have gone into it, and the old line from the religious hymn, "Will your anchor hold?" Well, I think it looks as if it's holding. Thank you.